the distinction, discipline or abuse? Domestic discipline is not abuse. There is a clear difference between your husband correcting you to help you become a better servant of Yah versus a man abusing you out of unholy anger and misguided control. The same way that some women are rebellious against their masters on earth, some men are rebellious against Yah and abuse the power of authority that has been given to them by the Most High. Our Father calls for our masters to be in the position of power within the family, but our Heavenly Father also commands the husband to love his women like he loves himself, and to give up his life for his bride. This is the distinction between a man abusing you versus loving you the way Yahushua loved the church. The difference is love. Abuse is not condoned by the Most High, and our Father never intended for men to treat their wives without love. Men are commanded to love their wives as themselves, and wives are commanded to respect, love, and revere their husbands. Love does not leave you hospitalized or scared in fear for your life. Love builds you up and makes you a better person. Domestic discipline is about building you up to make you a better person in the eyes of our Heavenly Father. It is not a fetish, violence, or something that's cute to take lightly. It is a shame to a woman if correction is something that's happening daily, because frequently needing chastisement is a sign of someone heading towards becoming reprobate. When the Most High chastised Israel, it was to bring back order, to remind them of who was on the throne. It was done from a place of love. Domestic discipline. The dilemma of permission. Some women only agree with domestic discipline if they've given their husband permission, along with setting the boundaries for how it can occur. The problem with this is that domestic discipline is not about giving your husband permission to correct your bad behavior. Elohim never sat down with Israel to get their permission to chastise them. They didn't have discussions about what types of punishments were fair and acceptable. As the King of Kings, the Most High did what was necessary, and did so without input from Israel. If he ever did ask, it was out of his own mercy to extend that permission. The Most High acted and reacted. He did what was necessary for his kingdom. He did it from love. Women who feel that they need to give their husband permission to correct them say this because it gives them back control. You are allowing your master to rebuke you, but only on your terms and in the way that you like. This is not discipline. It is the ruling queen giving her king permission on how he can run his household. The husband's role in domestic discipline. When a man takes control of his household, discipline isn't something he gets permission for unless he wants to do it that way. He is supposed to do this from a place of love, the same way a parent disciplines a child from love. We are to be patient with our children and teach them right from wrong. We give them abundant mercy as they learn. You are in the place of a child with your husband as his possession, and you were created for him. Domestic discipline is about him preparing you for the kingdom. He is supposed to build you up and not tear you down. The husband has been given control over you from the Most High. This means your husband is held responsible for preparing you for Yah's kingdom. A kingdom can't progress with subjects who rebel and disobey authority. All thriving civilizations need order, and the Most High's kingdom is the same way. Yah expects order in his kingdom, and he created men to rule within this realm. Women are commanded to obey their husband as if they are submitting to Yah, because we are rehearsing for Yah's kingdom here on earth. How you treat your husband is a reflection of how you will treat Yah. If you could understand the Most High correcting and chastising your disobedient behavior, you also have to understand why your Lord on earth needs to do the same. A husband is supposed to wash his wife with the word and love her as he loves himself. If the Most High wasn't chastising your husband, it would mean that the Father sees him as a bastard and not a son. Whom the Father loves he chastises. If your master wants to correct you from a place of love, this is a sign that he loves you and cares for your eternal soul. Transformation of modern women. The majority of modern women look and act like men. Why is it okay as a modern woman to come and go as you please, yell at your husband, do what you want, speak disrespectfully, dress how you want, and get a nasty attitude if your husband has anything to say against it? How many people believe they could act this way with a boss and not get fired? Yet we as women expect our husbands to put up with that and not let us go. They should continue to bow down to our disrespectful behavior and stay quiet. The moment they speak up and decide to act by enforcing their God-given right as the ruler over their women, their wives call the police, threaten to leave, and start throwing out the word abuse in a situation that wasn't actually abusive. Why can a woman slap her husband, throw objects at him, take his children, leave the house, and if her husband says anything against it, he is in the wrong for being toxic, abusive, and controlling? When women act this way, it's the woman who is toxic, manipulative, abusive, and controlling. You are controlling your husband by placing fear in him until he is afraid to act or speak against you. He fears you will call the police and lie about him when you don't get your way. He's afraid that you might take his children and turn them against him when you no longer want to be his wife. You can steal half of his income through divorce and sentence him to 18 years of child support and alimony. This is why many men sit back and let their wives treat them with gross disrespect and don't do anything about it. The women hold all the power and control. They run the house, set the rules, and make the decisions. They decide how the husband will discipline his children and train the husband how to respect them as the head queen of the house. Some women play the victim card by claiming their husband is controlling and toxic. The man is her pet, her child, her piece of property that she can manipulate into doing whatever she wants. She makes herself the ball and chain, and her husband feels trapped with no escape. She is not loyal and only protects herself. Modern women are like men and they work hard to become men. She is a powerful alpha female who makes her own money, is independent, educated, and can do everything on her own. In essence, she is a man, she wears the pants, and this is why she starts to look and act like one. Men with wives such as these are afraid to teach their wives how to be women. Therefore, the women become rebellious and reprobate, having zero respect for their man. They also become shameless and are counted as a dog according to Yah, which means the B word in our society. Most men in the West are married to dogs, and their wives are wild dogs who can't be trained. The wild dog eventually leaves, runs the streets, gets used up by other street dogs, and lives their later years bitter and alone. This isn't always the case, but for most female dogs, this is the grim reality of their future. All of humankind understands that consequences for bad behavior is what keeps a society in order. Why does this concept change within a marriage? You are commanded to submit to your husband in everything. Genesis 3 verse 16 commands your husband to rule over you. If he allows you to disrespect him, which is a violation of Yah's laws, he is allowing you to sin, and he will be judged by Yah for not correcting and teaching you. Consequences create fear in us to keep the laws of society. You don't steal because you know it's morally wrong, and the consequence is jail time. What if there was no consequence? How many people would become tempted to steal, even if they knew it was wrong, because they know that nothing would happen to them? This is why so many women disrespect their masters on earth. They know if they're disrespectful, their husband won't do anything about it. Therefore, the temptation to rule over your husband, even though it violates Yah's laws, is something you will continuously do without fear. Why keep the law if there are no consequences? The problem, however, is that there is a consequence. It is eternal death and a sentence to hell. The Most High will be the one to judge you. Wouldn't you rather it be your husband here on earth, correcting your bad behavior, teaching you how to serve him right so you can stand before Yah knowing that you did the best you could and gave it your all? Men who want to discipline their wives, within the bounds of Yah's law, to love his wife like he loves himself, so that his wife can make it to heaven, are men showing love. They are loving their wives like they love themselves. A man who could care less about how his wife behaves, and will not correct his wife's behavior, shows by his actions that he does not love his wife like he loves himself and has no concern for her eternal soul. On the opposite end, an abuser does not love himself, nor his wife, and is under the influence of Satan to destroy his own household. Men who want to serve Yah and teach their wives, while obeying the commandment to rule over their women, is a man loving his wife as he loves himself. He is preparing his women for the kingdom and washing them with the word. You will feel loved by a righteous husband. A husband who uses domestic discipline for the purpose of keeping order, with the goal of bringing the entire family to the kingdom, is not an abuser, but the polar opposite, because they showcase the highest form of love on earth. He is playing the role of Yahushua within his family by teaching, correcting, and washing with the word so that his wife will not have a spot, wrinkle, or any such thing. She will be like a tower from death to him and a pillar of rest. A beautiful bride fit for the kingdom. She will revere her master, while being filled with obedience, devotion, love, and respect towards her Lord on earth, who in return loves his wife like he loves himself and will give up his life for his bride. Biblical submission is a beautiful lifestyle that is worthy of praise.